Welcome to the Wednesday, October 15th, 2025 meeting of the Gloucester Conservation Commission. It is 5:30. Or if they roll call of commissioners present. Cook.
Here.
Member Sargent. Here. Member Terry. Here. And Member Jackson.
Here.
Start with the administrative briefing. Brooke, do you have anything for us?
Just a couple things. I did hear from somebody in the audience on Zoom that the sound quality is a lot better than we've had in other auditoriums, but there are still moments where things weren't completely clear. So it's for folks in the audience who are going to speak as well as commissioners. Please remember to speak clearly. Definitely helps for commissioners joining online as well as public online. Minutes. We had two additional requests for continuation. Here for those, the first one is NOI 0283020 or 2 High Rock Terrace. They've requested to continue to November 5th, 2025. And the other is NOI 0283091 for 33 Way Road. They've also requested to continue to November 5th.
Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to open up to public comment. This is for members of the public to ask questions or make comments on items that are not on our agenda tonight. If there's anybody who would like to speak, please raise your hand.
No hands up on the Zoom. Like none here in the auditorium.
Okay, close the comment, public comment period. Next up is minutes review and approval. For the minutes of October 1st, 2025.
Commissioner Jackson moves to approve the minutes, Conservation Commission minutes of October 1st as amended.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook.
Yes.
Sargent. Yes. Member Terry.
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
You. Next up is continued business. First item on the agenda is NOI 0283036 at 36 and 7 Welch Lane and R Woodman Street, RDL Welch Lane LLC. This matter has requested to continue to November 5th.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283036 at 36 and 7 Welch Lane and Rear Woodman Street to the meeting of November 5th, 2025.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook.
Yes.
Abstain. Member Terry.
Yes.
And Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, next item is NOI 0283077 at 37 Massasoit Road. Daniel Fonzie is the applicant. This applicant has also requested to continue to November 5th.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283077 at 37 Massasoit Road to the meeting of November 5th, 2025.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook.
Yes.
Sargent. Yes. Member Terry.
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, next item is NOI 0282976 at 171 and 281R Magnolia Avenue. How Mag LLC is the applicant. This is a project for construction of a 26-unit residential subdivision in riverfront area. Buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. Mike DeRosa from DeRosa Environmental Consulting.
For the record, Commissioner Cook recuses.
We have Mike. Is this one continued or no?
No, I think Chris was here too.
Okay.
There are enough people to vote tonight or?
Yeah, we've got a commission of 5 essentially, so yes.
Chris McCarthy, 166 Bray Street in Gloucester, Mass. I've been working on this project for 7+ years, and recently the owners, lawyers, CEO that had been working on the project have either passed away or left. And I ended up with a partner purchasing the land. within the last month and taking a hard look at it and we're going to be probably at some point withdrawing the proposal that's for the 26 units and doing something much further away from the wetlands, something a lot smaller that financially will make sense. Just after 7 years and the costs, it just doesn't make sense to build the project anymore. So well, one item we've worked on a long time is and I believe I submitted back in May, the sort of a history on the stream and the state weighing in on the stream status, on the status of the stream. And also did some direct observation through sort of informed Chuck back in July, which is a non-drought month, and went through the observations in July as well to document. But I just wanted to go through sort of the history as quick as I can. On the stream, on the project, the 91 acres, back in March 29th of 2002, Kurt Young submitted abbreviated notice of an area delineation on the streams that were on the property. And at that point, the Gloucester Conservation didn't agree with the designation. So we appealed it to the Mass DEP, and they came out and observed it. I think it was even in a non-drought month when they came out to observe it and saw that it was dry. And the DEP accepted the appeal and ended up issuing a superseding order, a superseding delineation that it wasn't perennial. And moving on in time, in July 2007, Kurt Young files a notice of resource area delineation again, including the stream evaluation that he submitted back in 2002. The City of Gloucester Conservation Commission looked at it, hired a third party to look at what he had put forward. The third party believed that it was there were two streams that are both intermittent, and the Gloucester Conservation Commission agreed with the third party as well as Kurt's what the state had said and also what Kurt had said. So from 2007 to 2019, it was continued to be brought forward. And all the way up until 2019, the NRAD, I believe, the NRAD, and back in 2019, we wanted to do some soil testing out there, and filed for a RDA to do the soil testing, and they also, it was reported by this Gloucester Conservation Commission that it was a buffer to BVW, and that it wasn't in the riverfront where we were doing the testing. Which brings us up to this summer. Going to be time to maybe go out and try to test and see whether water is flowing or not. And on 4 consecutive days, the first 3 days, there was a abutment that was the water's resting against, and I got 4 days where it was sitting stagnant by itself with no flow at all. And I also at that point went to the other side of the street where it's a little bit lower, and it was just standing water as well. And I think that Chuck would probably be able to let you know that it's the flow status that was there as well. They uploaded the pictures that I took and dated them, and hoping that the Conservation Commission continues to call it a intermittent stream and to vote that way. I'd only want to vote on the stream status so that I can move forward and work on some much smaller project. Similar to what you guys have done, I think on Kirk Road, when you tried to get what it was designated so they could plan to, what would they'd have to work with the zoning board regarding voting on basically where the line is. I think they did it there for a flood zone so that they could go and understand what they'd have to file for Board of Appeals land area designation over there. I don't know if you have any questions.
So just to clarify, I believe you're asking the commission not to consider the proposed development.
Correct,
area,
yeah.
Just the delineations of the resources.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a way to basically cancel the development. I just, real first wanted to deal with this, with this issue here, which is, but whatever the process is, I'll be applying to, or just getting a letter saying that we're no longer gonna move forward with it. I can do that this week. Or next.
Okay. We're going to open up to public comment. Any members of the public who wish to speak on this project, please raise your hand.
No hands up on the Zoom and none here in person.
Okay. Commissioner roll call comments?
Member Cook. Member Sergeant.
Some interesting, pictures that you have and stuff like that. I'm wondering what, Chuck has to say, about this, but
Sure.
that doesn't surprise me. I've been out there many times. So.
Yeah.
Member Terry.
And the first thing I'll say is your photos don't meet the documentation requirement of the regulations. You have to be accompanied by field notes. You need an attestation by a credible source, usually wetland scientists. I know it's been frustrating to sort of go through this process. What it sounds like is the last delineation that anybody did on this was in 2007. So we're talking almost 20 years ago. Don't know if the whole system has changed in that way, so that it would now be, a permanent stream instead of an intermittent stream. But I think the way it is, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's presumed to be permanent riverfront area and basically trying to rebut that presumption. By showing that,
Sorry.
the presumption is that it's a river, it's a permanent flowing river. And you're trying to rebut that presumption by presenting evidence that it's intermittent.
Historical and what that you guys have voted on in the past and the state coming to that conclusion.
I understand that. And I guess we can consider whether or not we want to take those prior, determinations into effect, but those prior determinations they expire after usually 3 years for delineation. So, and then the last one that was done with any sort of credible delineation study was almost 20 years ago, talking 18 years ago, 2007, it sounds like. I know it's frustrating that there's been, retroactively declared drought periods that have, invalidated the last effort that you guys tried to make to document this.
Can I speak to that at all? Speak to the retroactive part of that?
Well, I mean, I think we're aware of the retroactive part of it. I don't know if you can do anything about that.
Oh, no, I think what your call was right on it. It's just the way that the state actually documents. The way that they've got to change their documentation because.
No, I agree with that.
Because it should say for the month.
Suggest that he responds after everybody.
Yeah, so we'll go through all the comments and we'll respond. So I'm not, I think there needs to be an additional effort to make documentation about this in terms of procedure wise. If you're planning on withdrawing this project, I believe you can get an NOI for the delineation. It's what you're looking for is an order of delineation in ORAD. I don't know if you prefer to just withdraw the entire existing current NOI and then file a new ANRAD just to get the delineation on the stream. And then when you figure out what you want to do for the rest of the project, file an NOI for your project or whatever. I guess that's up to you. And I guess it's up to the board how we would want to proceed. But, right now what's in front of us is the notice of intent for a project that it doesn't seem like you intend to.
And
I'll figure it out.
okay, that's fine. I don't have a lot of additional to offer. Dave is more familiar with the site than I am, and Chuck has been out there. Certainly sounds like there's been a history of substantial. Same time, I can't deny the requirements that are in the. Chuck, what is your input on this?
I think the commission can approve the delineation. as part of an NOI. Clear in the order of conditions that it's only approving the delineation and not any of the other proposed work. In talking with the circuit rider, I know that, she's very adamant that there's only one way really to overcome the assumption of being perennial. It's marked as a perennial by USGS, and that's with the photo documentation. And I think that's something that in the past has been an issue that came up that it hasn't quite been submitted. This one's been tough. I went out there several times. I even got some tracer dye from DPW because I've been curious about the culvert itself at that location. The pipe is actually perched above where the water is, it sits up against the abutment. And I wanted to catch it in that state so I could put some tracer dye and see if the water's flowing underneath the roadway. And I started going out, and at that point there was absolutely no water to even put dye in. And I was, went out there several times and was thinking, oh, this is okay. I'm seeing it. And all of a sudden we had the more current retroactive drought. And that was during the days when I was out there. So I haven't had a chance. I went out actually this morning thinking maybe there'd be water, but not flowing through the pipe, but it's flowing pretty well through the pipe right now. So yeah, I wish I could catch it at that time when there's water up against the abutment, but not flowing, to see what the tracer dye does. But I haven't had that opportunity.
Response?
Again, I would hope that trying to document, trying to get an NOI, you almost have to wait years to get a notice of intent. That we've got it a non-drought month, because there are very few of them. And I thought documentation and having Chuck out there and observe as well. And just the history of them calling it intermittent, continuously calling it intermittent stream. That not meeting the strict criteria that the board, the commission would be able to take a look at the totality of what work has been done, documenting it and having it voted as a continuous 3 or 4 times by this board, that it's intermittent. I would just hope that they would continue. That would be, what I would hope. And
My recollection is that Mike DeRosa, that this was intermittent until right there at the culvert. He said that potentially was perennial at that point. Does that ring a bell with anybody? Yeah.
Downstream from the culvert.
Or at the culvert, wasn't it? Just above the culvert, because then there was a stream bank. And he sort of suggested that where there was a swamp, because there wasn't any riverine characteristics, that it really didn't meet the strict profile of a typical, perennial stream.
Yeah.
But that it did more, towards the culvert. And so my question is, if we approve the delineation as presented, does that go against what you want?
would explain. I don't understand your question.
I think he presented the area just before the culvert as perennial.
Yes, whatever was proposed, whatever proposed to on his plan, whatever was submitted is that being intermittent and across the street being perennial? Yes, I don't have a problem with that, because you've had other projects across the street that have been calling it perennial as well. I mean, it would end there. I mean, I think when you look at the criteria, obviously the observation, but also the non-riverine characteristics, as well as the upland storage area is below, I believe it's a half an acre that it needs to be admitted.
Once USGS is it, right?
Yeah, I mean, now I think we're talking, we need actual, like, documented by as wetland scientists to go out there and actually provide the correct, review that you need to overcome that presumption. And you went out in July, you had a window in July And if you had DeRosa go out there, take
Yeah.
field notes and
Yeah.
certify it, that would have been good. That would have
Yes.
met the standard.
Yes.
But I guess you gotta wait till the next one, I think. The next
So
one.
I would wait, and I mean, guess that it's gonna be a dry July next year, or, I mean, I think it's, um, what is a wetland scientist? What qualifies as a wetland scientist?
Well, someone with a professional wetland scientist is a license, PWS, same as a professional engineer. I mean, do you have DeRosa? Is he working?
No,
for you?
he was again, this, yeah. The old owners of it didn't want to do anything at all. I just went out, they were in turmoil trying to settle an estate for somebody, and they ended up not doing anything, and I went out and observed. I notified Chuck. I figured going out there might be a credible source would be the agent who's familiar. As soon as I started going out there, some conversations, he said it's gonna get dye, and I think the first week in August went out, it was completely dry. We couldn't do the dye test, and then August ended up being a severe drought month out there, so everything was dry across the street all the way down.
Did the circuit rider indicate that we could vote without these field notes and the other requirement? Should we take action as it is?
I mean, that'd be up to the commission. I didn't ask for that specifically.
Well, how does the commissioners feel on it? I mean, I know there's a documented history of it being classified as the intermittent stream, but again, those classifications have an expiration date.
They do.
And in this current filing that we have, we've asked for the documentation that provides support for providing presumption now. I don't know if we want to reverse our own
Back up,
course.
yeah, back up. Yeah, I'm comfortable with considering it an tree, but I can't disagree that documentation has been requested in our receipt.
I agree with you.
And just pulling up the plan, it looks like they do show basically that it becomes perennial just downstream from the culvert.
Can you put that up?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
The right, basically at the culvert, it shows the 100-foot and 200-foot buffer zone, and then downstream proximal location in the perennial stream. That's how it's shown by them.
Is that the buffer zone for the south side of the street?
I believe it is. I don't think that's probably correct in my understanding. My understanding is that it would just be a line that goes horizontally from the stream. So that if it was truly not perennial upstream, there probably wouldn't really be a buffer zone upstream. Buffer zone would put, bend outward,
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
perpendicular to the stream rather than bubble.
Well, so then what are we looking at for this riparian zone? I mean, is that,
I mean, the question Dave had was what they had shown. They did show it as an intermittent stream upstream of the culvert.
and so what are we saying that basically north side of the road is intermittent and south side of the road is perennial?
That's what was shown on the plans.
Should there be a buffer zone? Should there be a riparian zone at all?
In my mind, not upstream, but downstream there would be.
So really, we can't approve this plan either way. That riparian zone is based off of the intermittent stream up north of the road.
Well, you have the inner riparian, then you have the outer, that are shown there where the perennial stream starts. First 100. From the culvert on this, what's called the south side is,
Yeah, but then there shouldn't be any riparian zone on the north side, if it's an intermittent stream on the north side.
It'd be 100-foot buffer from edge.
Of the BVW.
Well, and
Yes.
and of the intermittent stream. It's a separate, different resource.
Yeah, so
Goes
if
out
you
from the
take the
stream,
point,
so-
if you take
Oh,
the
is it
point where it comes in
Intermittent streams have
perennial,
a 100-foot buffer.
you do 100 feet around.
on the specific property.
Well, but this seems off to me though, if we're calling north of the road an intermittent stream, it doesn't seem like we should have these arches of 100 and 200. There wouldn't be 100 and 200.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that the buffer zone goes perpendicular to course of the stream. So in this case, it would kind of stick out probably into that roadway, but I don't think it would cross at all.
But it'd only be 100, so there wouldn't be a 200 anywhere.
Well, that's assuming it's a 200-foot for the perennial portion below the road. I think that's what it's trying to show.
Yeah, but that should be only on the south of the road, and it should only be basically parallel to the stream. It shouldn't.
It should go 100, wherever it is, it's gotta be 100 feet for the inner and 100 foot for the outer in an arc from where it starts. Generally, if you do the whole neighborhood, it would go straight down the side, inner riparian and outer riparian.
I think based on where it's located, if that was how it's delineated, it doesn't really impact what's proposed.
Well, we don't know what's being proposed. Because they're withdrawing this current proposal.
Right.
And if there's no 200 riparian zone on the north side of the road, because it's an intermittent stream, then we can't really approve this plan either.
It has the buffer zone going up. It has a buffer zone, 100-foot buffer going up alongside of the old wood road that's there.
Well, that's to the BVW,
Right.
not to the stream itself. So, I mean, either way, I don't think we can approve this plan, so I don't think there's really anything for us to act on right now. I think there's gonna have to be a revised plan submitted,
Showing what?
showing what I think would be removing those riparian zones on the north side of the road.
But for the last 20 years, it's been voted by this commission as BVW. That's why we
That's
put
a
it,
different thing, though. That's riverfront area. Those 100 and 200-foot arches are for the 100 and 200-foot riverfront area for a perennial stream. You're saying north of the road, there's no perennial stream.
correct.
There shouldn't be a 100 and 200-foot riparian zone north of the road.
Yes, there should be. It should be from where it starts. It starts on the south side of the culvert. And because there's a road there, it continues to go past the road and it's gotta be 100 feet from that spot. It can't stop at the road. Because of what might upstream, what might come into that.
But the riparian zone is parallel to the stream. It doesn't, I mean,
That's
it's like making a cul-de-sac right now.
Yeah.
So if your stream is running like this,
Yep.
your buffer zone would be running like this as well. It wouldn't be up over it.
I believe it would. Because if you're gonna be 100 and 200 feet from where it starts, also where it terminates is where you'd have to draw an arch, I believe.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that it's perpendicular to stream course. It wouldn't have that.
Would it help if you talk to the circuit rider about this?
Sure.
I mean, that gives it more protection the way it shows there. If the perennial stream starts on the south side, I don't have a problem with the way that he put it here. It gives more protection on the north side by having the inner and the outer riparian, which is 200 feet from where we feel that the perennial stream starts.
I understand that. I'm not quite sure that the 100 and 200-foot riparian zone would be drawn like that off of an end, basically where it comes out of a culvert. You know what I mean? Like, you're basically saying that you are saying, because the end of the culvert is where the end of the perennial stream is, so that's your course of your stream is sort of, the end of the pipe. You're drawing off of from the end of the pipe, but I don't think,
The buffer zone, yeah.
I'm not sure it works like that. That's what I'm saying. And I guess, I mean, maybe we need whoever drew the delineation to come and support that. Check in with DEP. What do you guys think?
I think checking with the circuit writer gives us more information, if nothing else. More information, the better.
Well, I mean, again, I guess it's up to you if you want to have a vote on it or you want to continue.
I just hope that the board looks at the totality and when it comes time to vote, that's something that the board for 20 years had voted one way because of a technicality. And I thought maybe overcoming that was having the agent go out there as well or be aware to document.
The field notes have to be taken at the time the pictures are taken, or can they, can't be taken from evidence in the pictures as well as their own observations on the site?
I think it has to be during the site visit. I'll just say, I'm not ready to, at this time, to approve a delineation as an intermittent stream based on the recent photographs taken from July or historical.
That's right. So I think the old way of doing documentation was having someone stamp, but I thought it was just photographic. Not just field notes, but photographic. Observation, time stamped and sent. The old way of determining before 2002 was field notes and you didn't even need pictures, but
That's the old way.
yeah.
The current requirement is field notes documented.
And pictures and
Pictures and video and field notes and an attestation under the pains and penalties of perjury by the person doing it that essentially authenticates the pictures and the notes. Yeah.
No, gather more information on the inner and outer riparian there, that'd be great.
That's what we know.
And Chuck's gonna check with DEP to see if there's some wiggle room.
Thank you. Thank you.
We want to continue for 2 weeks or longer?
I would do it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks this time, just because extra.
Okay, November 5th. Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0282976 at 171 and 281 Rear Middle Avenue. Conservation Commission meeting November 5th.
Sergeant Evans.
All member, President,
Yes.
Member Carey,
Yes.
and Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay. Next item is NOI
The record
0283006.
Commissioner Cook returned.
NOI 0283006 at 105 Wingersheek Road, 125 Wingersheek LLC. Is the applicant. I'm going to call this one with NOI 0283007 at 107 Wingersheek Road. Also 125 Wingersheek LLC is the applicant. Both matters have requested to continue to November 19th.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283006 at 105 Wingersheek Road and NOI 0283007 at 107 Wingersheek Road to the Conservation Commission meeting of.
Of 11/19,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Terry,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Next item is NOI 0283020 at 2 High Rock Terrace, Peter Carbone and Susan McNulty applicants. This one has also requested to continue to November 5th.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283020 at 2 High Rock Terrace to the Conservation Commission meeting of November 5th, 2025.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
All Member Cook,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Terry,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Next is NOI 0283076 at 481 Western Avenue. Trustees of Reservations and Ned Darling applicant. This has also requested to continue to November 5th.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283076 at 481 Mitchell Avenue to the Conservation Commission meeting. That's 2020.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Call member Cook,
Yes.
Yes.
member Terry,
Yes.
member Jackson.
Yes,
Next is NOI 0283080 at 598 and 600 Essex Avenue. Michael Oliver, the applicant. This is requested to continue to November 19th.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283080 at 998 600 Essex Avenue to the Conservation Commission meeting of November 19th, 2025.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Roll call, member Cook,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
member Tui,
Yes.
member Jackson.
Yes,
Okay. Next is NOI 0283089 at 29 River Road. Deborah Michelle and Pamela Curtis, applicants. This is for the raising of existing home above flood elevation, existing wharf repair and raising existing seawall in land subject to coastal storm flowage, riverfront area, buffer zone to coastal resource areas. Bill Manuel from Wetlands and Land Management Incorporated represent.
Hi, good evening. Bill Manuel from Wetlands and Land Management. I noticed that Jonathan Poor is in the audience as well, a live audience. And this is our second hearing, and I'd just like to share my screen and show you where we've come since the first hearing and our site walk that we had. So I think we had a very good first meeting. I think anybody who's familiar with this section of Annisquam knows that it is an area subject to extreme tides from time to time. This is a proposal to raise up the existing house. It is in riverfront area, and we've treated this project as a riverfront redevelopment project. One of the questions that we took away from the last meeting was this existing patio here, and I'm looking at sheet 3 of our plan set. This existing patio, we treated that as previously degraded areas. Chuck showed some photos that had somewhat of a grass cover over it. So Chairman Viteri was out there and we looked at this. Some of the stones are in fact exposed on this. And then Phil Mitchell, he got out a garden trowel or whatever, a similar tool. And with very little scraping, he revealed that there are, stones. There was a stone patio underneath there. Basically, that has always been maintained as a patio and is generally it's seasonal maintenance to clean that off. But I suspect with the upcoming major renovation, they've let that task go for perhaps this year and last year, which is why it appears more grassy than a stone patio or a degraded area. But I believe Chairman Viteri was confident, or it was in agreement, that it was a degraded area. So if that stands, then our calculations of mitigation are valid. The next question that we took away from the meeting was this area here that extended the portion of deck that extended closer to the river. And again, this was the sheet of our plan set that documented all the new impacts to riverfront area. So you could see that we've already counted this area as an impact and accounted for that in our 2-to-1 mitigation scheme. So this part of the regulations, it kind of always does confuse me, whether we double count that or not. But we began to have a discussion on site and expanded on the concept of the soil management and the fact that with this being a dry set wharf wall, all the fines are being sucked out, if you will, on a continual basis, and are being deposited in the benthic environment of the adjacent river. And with our soil management solution, that's going to be arrested. And that will cease to happen, which is we all thought was a significant environmental improvement, and one which we have not taken any credit for in this application. But I would submit to you, if in fact we need to double count what we've already counted as impact, double count it for the expansion towards the river, it would require an additional 194 square feet of mitigation on the property. And I would submit to you that the soil management solution is an additional level of environmental protection where square footage is not a relevant measure, and that would certainly accommodate that additional 194 square feet of mitigation value. So hopefully the commission would look favorably on that in that regard. And then the last change that we had on this plan set is after the site walk concluded, we scrutinized how much we need to raise the wall. And initially we were going to raise it to elevation 10. And then 10 would be the highest point, and that would be, basically this corner. And that was effectively raising it 2 feet. And then joining the wall height to match the neighbor over here and the wall height along River Road. So that would have been almost to elevation 11 over here, and I think about 10-ish over here. And we decided we don't need to do that much raising the grade. And there is I submitted a couple of photographs that show we're going to raise the wall height to elevation 9.2, which matches the wall height right here. There's a little tiny step up. You can see this, it says top of wall 8.6. And then the next, it's basically a 1 stone step up from there. It's top of wall 9.2, which is surveyed. So that's what we're going to carry all around the perimeter of the wharf. This will end up being about 1.8 feet lower than this abutting wall here, and roughly 0.8 of a foot lower than the wall along River Road. So the walls on either side plus River Road directly in front of this property is still higher. I would suggest that really it's the road and that is the controlling factor here about about what areas would flood in a storm surge. And I'm going to share with you a picture. So this is I think from one of the surges last year, one of the larger storms. And you can see obviously that there's at least a foot of water up against the house. And you can see in the background here, there's River Road and the embankment up to River Road. I mean, that's the ultimate basically controlling factor here of which areas are going to get inundated or not. So by, again, raising this wall height by it would range from a 0.6 to about 1.2 at the highest part. That really has no bearing on, whether it's going to redirect any storm surge. First of all, this is an AO zone, so there is no surge. Everything is inundated equally, as this photograph illustrates. And it's still 3.8 feet lower than the worst surge that's predicted in a 100-year event. So by adjusting the wall height by a minimal amount, and certainly less than what we had originally proposed, I don't believe there's any additional impact to abutting properties. As I said in my letter, this being the lowest property around, you could look at it conversely and say, I don't think this property is going to suffer any more adversely from being the lower property adjacent to higher walls. So we're not even coming up to the height of the abutting walls or the road. So I don't think there's any possibility that there's additional storm damage redirected off-site. So again, I hope the commission looks favorably on this. We did look at this very carefully. To the extent that we need to double count this area extending closer to the water, I think we've got that covered with the additional level of environmental protection with our soil management system.
Okay, thank you. We'll open it up to public comment. Any members of the public who wish to comment on this project, please raise your hands.
We have no hands up on the Zoom. We do have a hand up here.
Yes.
I was here at the meeting about a
Yes,
month
name and
ago.
address for the record.
Oh, Elizabeth Balmer, 28 River Road. I did file a letter of concerns. You can pull it up on your computer. It was filed today. So what I'm going to read, you have documented.
Okay.
At the September 17th Conservation Commission meeting, I presented a number of questions and concerns. Many of these were related to the conservation aspect of the proposed project, not just zoning or neighborhood nuisances. It's quite concerning that the project team has made no attempt to contact us. Isn't this forum supposed to be a place where this discussion happens? This doesn't bode well for how the project will be handled in the future when neighbor concerns arise. We're going to attempt to ask some more questions now, and we hope that the Conservation Commission supports us and assists us in providing some answers. A side note, I want to document that I do reside at 28 River Road, and my 2 abutter notices were addressed and mailed to 26 River Road in error, so I did not get them. I want to introduce my brother now, Arno Balmer. He's got a degree in architecture from MIT, and he's going to walk you through our concerns.
Okay, so I'm going to be reading through what was sent in earlier today, and you have in your notes. And I don't know if this is a good time, if answers might be available right away. If so, feel free to interrupt. The project as currently proposed can be broken into separate sub-projects, which perhaps can and should be addressed separately. Rotation and raising of the existing wooden structure to avoid further flood damage with rising sea levels. The raising of the height of the seawall and the height of the upland area of the pier. The replacement of a significant amount of the original fill under the pier's upland area with loam and the installation of filter fabric under the new loam. On 1A above, the rotation and raising of the existing wooden structure, we understand that the Conservation Commission is not authorized to address issues related to zoning dimension controls. We will address these concerns with the Zoning Board of Appeals. The abutters would like to see the addition of screening plantings between the raised house and the road, because we fear that this quaint small wooden structure will look strange and particularly unattractive when lifted as high as proposed. We suggest high enough to cover the new lifted section and the floor above. If the insulation screening at the front of the raised structure requires moving the building 1 to 2 feet further back from on the lot, we would not be opposed to that. Related to the raising of the height of the seawall and upland area of the pier, why is the seawall on the pier's upland area being raised? That certainly does not appear to be necessary to protect the existing structure from flood damage. Paragraph A of 310 CMR 10.585A states, at a minimum, proposed work shall result in an improvement over existing conditions of the capacity of the riverfront area to protect the interest identified in MGL C-131, paragraph 40. However, the raising of the seawall and the filling raising of the pier's upland area reduces stormwater storage capacity at the site in flood conditions, therefore forcing floodwater off-site to a higher elevation on other properties. Proposed project with the raising of the seawall and the pier's grade does not meet the aforementioned requirements, and this aspect of the project should not be approved. Regarding the replacement of fill with loam and the addition of filter fabric under the loam. Loam is relatively impervious compared to rocky fill and gravel, so the addition of feet of loam to the site is likely to significantly increase the surface runoff from the site into the ocean. This issue may be further exacerbated by the filter fabric installed under the loam. Fines will accumulate at the surface of the filter fabric buried under the loam as intended, and it will become relatively impervious. With heavy rain, the whole loam layer could therefore become saturated, leading to even further surface runoff. The applicant originally told the neighbors that only a vertical sheet of filter fabric would be installed behind the seawalls. That seems to us to be a significantly better solution to the problem of the release of fines through the seawall. It should be noted that one of the permissible mitigation strategies outlined in 310 CMR 10.585F is grading to a topology which reduces runoff and increases infiltration. There is no grading topology proposed to increase infiltration, but the proposed amount of loam being added to the site and the installation of filter fabric under the loam will actually decrease infiltration, not increase it. For mitigation, as mentioned above, permissible mitigation methods are enumerated in 310 CMR 1058.5F as follows. 1, removal of all debris, but retaining any trees and other mature vegetation. 2, grading to a topology which reduces runoff and increases infiltration. 3, coverage by topsoil at a depth consistent with natural conditions at the site. And 4, seeding and planting with an erosion control seed mixture, following Plantings of herbaceous and woody species appropriate to the site. Only items 3 and 4 appear to apply here, except the amount of loam being added is not consistent with existing conditions at the site. We're concerned that the proposed mitigation plan on this project appears to follow a circular argument. Raising of the upland area with loam and installation of filter fabric under the loam is part of the proposed work under this NOI, and therefore that should not be claimed as part of the mitigation. Similarly, the planting of vegetation on upland that is being raised and therefore further degraded as part of the project should not be counted as mitigation. Surely the required mitigation of this project should be off-site. Paragraph B of 310 CMR 1058-5 states, stormwater management is provided according to standards established by the department. No stormwater management plan has been proposed. Is it required? Conservation agent is the administrator of the floodwater overlay district. Does the conservation agent make determinations on items such as zoning compliance under the floodplain overlay district? Is the application for a Chapter 91 license for this project proceeding? What is the procedure? Are there meetings that we can attend? If so, where and when? We also have the following construction concerns during the construction process. Surface runoff during and after construction. Any fill materials used on the construction site, especially loam, can be very easily washed into the river by rain. Any piles of loam or other fill materials should be covered daily to avoid their being washed into the river. Such cover should be firmly secured to stop the cover from being blown into the water. Once the loam is spread over the surface, efforts should be made to stop any soil runoff into the water, such as the installation of secured hay bales or hay socks along the inner edge of the wall. It is usual to require the installation of seed at the earliest possible opportunity after loam is spread to stop erosion of the soil by rain. Because of the very limited parking on River Road during the summer months, due to summer visitors, the nearby restaurant, and the Amsquam Yacht Club, it's hard to imagine that the proposed work can be done during the summer. Subsequently, the work might be done at a time of year when grass seed will not germinate, as a requirement to immediately install sod on the loam should be considered. How will the applicant stop soil piles from being washed into the river during flooding events? Inadvertent spreading of soil, gravel, and construction materials off-site. Truck and excavating material used on the site could carry soil and other fine materials onto the surface of River Road on their tires. Such material deposited under River Road will likely wash into the river due to rain. Note that the applicant's representative, in response to the abutters' concerns about lack of parking on River Road, stated that there was plenty of space on site to accommodate parking by contractors. The applicant clearly expects a number of vehicles to drive and park on the site. Vision should be required at the site entrance to minimize transfer of soils onto River Road. If necessary, that could include a provision of wash station for cleaning of vehicle tires. Containment of construction materials on site. We request that the commission require provisions in the order of conditions for the containment of loose material, construction materials and debris on site, so that they do not end up blowing into the river. At least one other local redevelopment project installed floating barriers around the pier to catch such materials. Such requirements should be in place on this project too. Dumpsters. The abutters request a stipulation in the order of conditions that no dumpsters associated with this project are placed on the public way at River Road. Access to abutting properties. Although not strictly in the purview of conservation, the abutters request that the stipulation be included in the order of conditions that the ability of abutters to access their own properties should not be impeded by the proposed work. This is submitted by Beth Palmer, 28 River Road, John Austin and Patricia Austin, 26 River Road, Kathy Shad, 16 Arlington Street.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments?
Are we expecting responses? Looking at last month, we had questions and there were no responses. Is there a process that those are supposed to be submitted to questions here?
I can ask Mr. Manuel to respond to some of the questions after we go through our commissioner roll call.
Okay.
So Member Cook.
Bill, I'd like to thank you for making the changes as far as the seawall and that goes. Dropping it down, I think is probably a good idea, but I have no other questions with the project.
Member Sergeant.
Yes, thank you for making those alterations. And I want to reiterate the other conditions, that there would have to be a year monitoring for the mortality and mitigation plantings. Perpetual condition of the COC prohibits further alteration within the mitigation area, except as may be required to maintain the area in its mitigated condition, and all dewatering must be adequately treated when being discharged. Thank you.
Member Pateri.
I don't have any comments? I think some of our standard conditions, encompass some of the construction related activity. That you had raised. So I guess, I'll leave it to Bill also to address some of your other concerns.
Yeah, I have nothing additional to add.
Okay. Bill, you want to, address any of the commissioner comments and any of the public comments?
Sure. Well, I didn't really pick up any commissioner comments. Commissioner Sargent had a usual list of his concerns, and we would expect protection in perpetuity of any areas that are designated for riverfront area mitigation. With respect to the neighbors' comments, a very thoughtful list of comments. Most of them are construction related, and I don't think we would have any problem, with a condition that would require the usual, gravel tracking pad as you're at the construction entrance, making sure no sediment is carried off site, however, whatever methods the contractor has to employ. We could certainly talk about screening plantings when we get closer to the landscape phase of the project. But I do believe there's been efforts from the applicant to reach out to the neighbors and vet the project as best they can prior to us being here at the meeting. I just want to clarify to the Balmers that, I have somewhat of a disagreement that your assertion that loam could become impervious. I mean, generally we treat loam surfaces as a pervious feature. There is only enough loam to be brought into the site after we do the soil management, where we excavate out the fines and the loose material that's been washing through the wharf wall. We're going to replace that with crushed stone that is going to be encapsulated within filter fabric material. And then the final loam is only, 8 inches or so, typical lawn depth of loam on a lawn. To get grass to grow in areas where grass is intended to grow. And it's a little bit thicker where we intend for shrubbery, like the riverfront mitigation areas, to become established. So we need a little bit more depth. We don't believe that will be a detriment to the riverine environment. Suggestions of socks along the perimeter of the wall, that's a good suggestion. We don't show any there, but that's a good suggestion and it's worthwhile. But we think we have a very good plan here. It's been tested on another property very, very close to here. We did look very, were it not for rising sea levels and more frequent storm surges, we wouldn't be in front of the commission. But obviously that photograph shows everything that this structure is in danger. If we don't do something to raise it up, then it will be lost, and that would be a shame. So we think we have a very good project in front of the commission. Perhaps some of the conditions should be, the usual. I think the Gloucester Order of Conditions is pretty thorough in addressing a lot of the construction type conditions. One other thing I would like to point out is it's very unlikely that we're ever going to have a stockpile of material on the site, because the site is just not large enough to handle any of that. So anything that is excavated out, it'll most likely have to be taken off site, and everything that needs to be backfilled to be brought back on site. So I don't think there's any issues with stockpiling or losing any material into the adjacent river. So that's the best. It was a long letter. Frankly, I checked the comments. I checked the website yesterday to see if there were new comments. I did not check it today. This is new to me that these comments were submitted. But as I said, a lot of them, I believe, were construction related, and we're happy to speak to the neighbors about landscaping in the future.
Sure.
Jonathan Ford and Company. I prepared the plans for this and worked with Bill. I just wanted to add one clarification that generally the pitch on the site, the slope on the site is 1/4 inch per foot. relatively flat site, just enough to have positive pitch by code away from the building. And in addition to that, all the plantings that we've provided generally around the periphery of the wharf, so that, you know, as the 1/4 inch per foot slope sheds the water slowly, there's time for the plants to reabsorb it. So that has all been thought through carefully in terms of how in a rain event, how that would just clarify that.
Thank you. Are there any, yes?
Has this technique of using a relatively flat application of filter fabric under the loam, has that been used before? We were told by the applicant that the original plan was to put a vertical sheet of filter fabric behind the wall to stop the fines going through the wall. That made a lot of sense to us. Putting the filter fabric under the loam seems to us likely to trap the water on the top of the filter fabric. So that whole bed of loam will then become saturated. And the loam could then wash off site. So I want to know if they've done this before with a horizontal application of the filter fabric.
Right, I mean, I believe, I would learn from Jonathan and Bill on site that they have done this before, but that would Jonathan speak further to that.
Good question. We've done it both ways many times. Usually we do vertical fabric when there's not enough of a budget in the project to do it, in my opinion, correctly. And when we've done it vertically, it helps mitigate. In other words, the sign generally is that you see sinkholes. You have to yearly replenish the loam. And basically what you're doing is you're dumping the loam onto the lawn. It's all going out into the tide flats. So when we've done the vertical strategy with crushed stone and vertical filter fabric going pretty deep, it's slowed the process down, but not eliminated the process. When we've done the full bowl effect, almost like a colander, it's basically eliminated the problem. So we've done it both ways for about years.
All right. How do we feel, commissioners?
I have another question. Can the team, can you address the mitigation, our question on mitigation? They can use the project as their mitigation.
You had mentioned something about like that there is some rule like the mitigation is in perpetuity. And what is actually defined as the mitigation? Is it the whole yard or?
It's the area of planting, you know, that they show, you know, on the plan.
That's like the planting area, usually, where the plantings would go. Others?
But the plantings on the raised part of the lot.
Is it raising the lot and the way to mitigate that is to put plants on part of what's been raised?
So it seems a bit circular, the argument. In that part of the project is raising the land level. And then you plant on that raised land level. Normally mitigation would be on an undisturbed part of the lot.
You want to speak to that, Mr. Port?
Sure. I mean, my understanding of to put fairly simply in layperson's terms, the way I think of it is the mission is to slow down and reabsorb water wherever it comes from. And the best way to reabsorb it is with plant material. And if you have a steep slope, you terrace it, slow the water down. We don't need to do that because we've got basically flat sites, almost too flat. So we've just done minimum pitch. So, and there's substantial planting beds around the perimeter. Here and there, there's gaps where we want to let the owner get to the seawall to enjoy their property. But generally it sort of rings the property. And so my understanding is it's the plant mass and the root ball that's doing the absorbing. And you've got a nice shallow pitch to manage that. So it's basic seems to me it's the basics of, water behaves around that material and topography. So,
I guess that's addressing like the rain issue, but as far as flood water, raising things up and putting plants on them doesn't increase the capacity for that water to get absorbed. I mean, it's blocked. Every square foot of soil you bring in there is a square foot where the water can no longer go. So that flood capacity has been decreased by the raising of the site there. And that's what we were wondering, what is the mitigation for that?
well,
Well, this is Bill Manuel. The dwelling is now raised up. There are flood openings plus door openings at the ground level that is going to allow any flood waters to basically move in and out of the building footprint. So, that area is now available for flood storage. Secondly, the idea of flood storage in a coastal environment has already been basically vetted probably decades ago now, because the displacement is essentially redistributed throughout the entire Atlantic Ocean basin. We're not worried about creating flood storage in a coastal flood zone. What we are concerned about in a coastal velocity zone is not redirecting wave energy to abutting properties where it could cause damage that would not be incurring damage before the project. In this case, as I've tried to illustrate in words and with the photograph, it's really River Road that is the limiting factor here. The highest topography through this section of Annisquam, that is the ultimate seawall. And frankly, we would have to raise River Road to affect any difference in the way things are being affected by tidal surges. There's no change in orientation. This is not a velocity zone. This is an AO zone. All properties are flooded equally at the same time on an advancing tide or an advancing surge. So I think, I've discussed that and rightly concluded that this particular project with the minimal adjustment to the wall height has no impact on abutting properties. And as I said, conversely, the walls that are higher adjacent to us, we don't think this property will suffer any more adversely than as a matter of being lower than the adjacent walls.
Yeah, I can understand if you're talking about the ocean, it's infinite essentially and all that. But I thought you mentioned this was being done as a riverfront property, which I thought the rules for that would say we're no longer an infinite coast. We're in a confined area, and any displacement that is eliminated in one area goes to another area. Since we're kind of close here, we're near the ocean, but we're also in an enclosed area. I don't know which is actually valid here, but it would seem to me if everyone who had a lot like this filled it in, it might raise levels in this area here, not obviously out in the Atlantic Ocean, but in the Cove or in the Annisquam River area, that it's not infinite. It is finite, and everything you fill in one place has a small effect. And if we set a precedent that they can all be raised up, there might be effect. I don't know. Maybe you know better than I do on that.
No, it's been widely accepted for a long time that the changes of flood storage it's imperceptible to try to measure it in a tidal area. I wouldn't call this a confined space. I mean, it's all a tidal area, and the measurement is spread out over the entire basin affected by the tides. The other thing, I think you're confusing riverfront area mitigation with tidal displacement, and our mitigation formula is derived from 1058-5, this being a riverfront redevelopment project, and that's why we are proposing plantings along the perimeter of the wharf wall for our mitigation to address 1058-5. So this sort of approach, this riverfront redevelopment stuff has been going on now for a couple of years. I've personally had projects appealed and vetted by the DEP, so I'm confident in my approach. I think the commission is also comfortable in dealing with these projects as well, and the one question about, whether there's sufficient mitigation related to the deck. And I believe we've offset that mitigation with the environmental improvements by stopping the loss of sediment to the benthic environment. So I think we're rock solid on our riverfront area mitigation.
Okay,
And they address chapter 91, like when that will happen.
so my understanding of chapter 91 is that they need to get the Conservation Commission approval before they go to chapter 91. And there's a separate notification process for abutters under chapter 9.
Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for NOI 0283089 River Road.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Terry,
Yes,
Member Jackson.
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve the NOI 0282089 at 29 River Road as here and discussed.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Yeah, with the conditions here and discussed.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Yes.
Member Terry,
yes,
Member Jackson.
Yes.
right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next item, NOI 0283090 at 10 Oaks Avenue. Joseph Galino, the applicant, reconstruction of a multifamily home in land subject to coastal zone flowage, buffer zone to coastal bank. Joseph Galino from Federa Engineering representative.
Voting now.
Good afternoon. My name is Giovanni Federa, the project engineer of the site. I'll just share my screen if I can do that. The project is a redevelopment of 10 Oaks Ave. It's currently an existing 11-unit residential building. It is being rehabbed as in a proposed 11-unit residential building. These are some site pictures. As you can see, we are up against the ocean and we have a good 150 feet away, plus or minus, from the ocean edge, the coastal bank, but we are within the flood zone. And so the project is to demolish the south wing, which is this section right here, and to reconstruct it. I will show the plans right here. This is the existing condition site plan. As you can see, that the 100-year flood zone kind of cuts, about 1/3 through the existing building. We are away from the 100-foot buffer of the coastal bank, but this is the reconstruction. We did present at the previous meeting 2 weeks ago, so the only thing that was outstanding was the stormwater checklist and a stormwater report, which we have completed since. We did some test pits in the back, right up against here, 2 test pits. We did not hit refusal. The material was good. It was sandy loam, and we were able to fit in a leaching galley right over here that satisfies the standards, with the exception of a waiver on standard 2, because we are in a land subject to coastal storm flowage. So we provided the stormwater report, we provided the stormwater checklist. We updated the plans to account for stormwater design. We are keeping the erosion control plan basically as a construction phasing plan to give an idea of how construction is going to be, proceed throughout construction. So those are the changes that we have completed, and I'd like to open it up to the commissioners with hopes that this satisfies their requests from the previous meeting.
Okay, thank you. We'll open up to public comments. Any members of the public who have questions, comments on this project, please raise your hands.
We have no hands up on the Zoom and none here in person.
Okay, we'll move to commissioner roll call comments.
Member Cook. Awesome. Member Sergeant.
Thank you for addressing the stormwater issues. Although it's proposed to extend the roof line to the south, I believe the extension is offset by the removal of the concrete slab patio and the concrete walkways. Presently, this property has no existing stormwater system for roof drainage, and stormwater flows down Oaks Ave to the coastal bank. A subsurface recharge system is proposed to be constructed on the north side of the property. The system will capture roof runoff and is equipped with an overflow orifice. It will discharge surplus runoff over land. I believe this proposal is improvement over existing conditions, and in my opinion, meets the redevelopment standard up to the maximum extent practicable. Thank you.
Looks like Member Cook is back. Did you have any questions or comments?
No, not with the stormwater report being provided.
Member Lettieri?
One question about where the stormwater on the south side of the roof goes, outside of the area outlined on your stormwater plan. And one continuing condition to keep and maintain records of stormwater inspection reports, the forms on file.
And Member Jackson?
I have no additional comments. Okay, ready to move forward?
If there's one, I think, question I had for Mr. Federa. So my question was where the stormwater that hits the south side of the building's roof, where does that go?
That would daylight to the ground surface.
Okay. Would that be channeled through a gutter system, or would it just fall off the roof?
No, it would be channeled through a gutter system down downspouts and daylighted to the surface.
Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for NOI 0283090 at 10 Oaks Avenue.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Roll call. Member Cook?
Yes.
Sergeant?
Yes.
Member Lettieri?
Yes.
Member Jackson?
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve NOI 0283090 at 10 Oaks Avenue, including the conditions that have been discussed. Appropriate.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Roll call. Member Cook?
Yes.
Sergeant?
Yes.
Member Lettieri?
Yes.
Member Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item is NOI 0283091 at 33 Way Road, Lata Shukla. As the applicant, I understand that this is going to be continued.
Yes.
The request to continue to November 5th.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283091 at 33 Way Road, Conservation Commission meeting of November 5th, 2025.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Roll call. Member Cook?
Yes.
Yes. Member Lettieri?
Yes.
Member Jackson?
Yes.
On to new business. First item is an extension request for 0282734 at lot 3A, Sandwood Point, Joseph Pellet. The applicant, it's an extension of order condition 0282734. Completing construction of duplex in riverfront area in buffer zone to Salt Marsh. Mary Rimmer from Rimmer Environmental Consulting LLC representing.
Good evening, members. Mary Rimmer Environmental. Hopefully you can hear me okay there.
Yep.
Okay, great. This is just a request for a one-year extension to the order of conditions for this project. This is was originally issued in October of 2020. It would have expired in 23, but there was the Permanent Extension Act extended it until October 2025. October 22nd, 2025, so next week it would expire. All the work is done, but just in case there's additional work as part of the certificate of compliance request, which we plan to file hopefully for your next meeting, we wanted to make sure that that existing order doesn't expire. If you recall, this is the project, lot 3A is the one with the larger portion of the salt marsh restoration work. That work has been completed. I included some photos of that work. The plantings are taking root, and it's coming in slowly but surely. So just are looking for an extension to have time to file that certificate of compliance request.
How long an extension?
Just 1 year.
Okay, You. We'll take public comments. Any members of the public who have questions or comments on this project, please raise your hand.
We have no hands up on Zoom and none here in person.
And Commissioner roll call comment?
Member Cook.
No comments.
No comment.
Member Terry.
No comments.
Member Jackson.
I have no comment. You went out to look at it. You're in agreement with what's going on out there?
I haven't had a chance
Okay.
to get out there recently. So Katie and I will visit.
Okay.
When the certificate of compliance request comes in,
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Jackson moves to approve. Does this require a public hearing? Should I close the public hearing? Okay. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve extension 0282734 for 1 year.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
We'll call Member Cook.
Yes.
Yes. Member Terry.
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item is RDA 1836 at One Harbor Loop. The Building Center Incorporated of Gloucester is the applicant. A replacement of a racked structure and land subject to coastal storm flowage and buffer zone to coastal resource areas. Joel Favaza of Seaside Legal Solutions, BC, representing.
Good evening. Apologies. I didn't see, I didn't hear you call my number. Which one are we on, if I don't mind my asking?
The One Harbor Loop.
Oh, beautiful. You guys are moving straight along. Would you do me the courtesy of tabling me, taking someone next, and then coming back to me?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, we'll table One Harbor Loop for couple of. Moving on to RDA 1837 at 12 Beachland Avenue. Alan and Donna Villian as applicants. This is for a garage, barrier beach, land subject to coastal storm flowage, and buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. John Judd from Gateway Consultants Inc. representing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, John Judd, engineer with Gateway Consultants for this project at 12 Beachland Road. Chuck, I can bring it up, or if you want to bring up my plan, it's pretty straightforward. Proposed detached garage.
You want to go ahead?
So I will is able to share if you would invite me in. Okay, so share my screen. Okay, thank you. So this is the property over in the Long Beach section. The existing house is here. And there's a proposed detached garage here. This would be proposed to be 17 by 21 feet for a total area of 367 square feet for this detached garage that's proposed. The wetlands are actually off-site to the north side over here. So the proposal is to construct a detached garage here in land subject to coastal storm flowage. As Chuck reminded me, we are in a barrier beach system over here in Long Beach. However, we are outside the buffer zone to the BVW, the bordering vegetated wetland back here, but we are within the flood zone here. The entire site, all 13,529 square feet is within the AO zone, and the proposed garage it would be situated in that as well. It meets the setback requirements for the city. However, we are here for the work in the flood zone. Chuck had reminded me about the local ordinance that we have. We did include the flood zone calculations here. The proposed increase is 2.6 area, to 2.6% of the total lot area. And Chuck and I we discussed the cumulative impact of the property as far as the flood zone impact. And I believe we're still underneath that 10% threshold. We have 13,000 square feet. That would mean just over 1,359 square feet would be allowed for the total. And it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, that it's habitable space. Is that not the case for the floodplain bylaw?
It's, and also the additional structures. That's why the garage.
Whether they're habitable or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have, again, 357 square feet for the proposed garage, and we have 24 by 40 here. So this still keeps us under the total 1,359 square feet. So if there's any question on that, we can provide that. But again, we're here for a detached garage, and we believe it meets all the zoning requirements. We do have erosion control on the north side, which is along the buffer zone. But can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Open up to public comments. Any members of the public who have questions or comments on this project, please raise your hand.
We have no hands up here on the Zoom and on here.
Okay, Commissioner roll call comments?
Member Cook,
No comments.
Member Sergeant.
Because this is in a Barrier Beach area, and this is a question on the flood, whether this should be an NOI and an RDA.
Member Terry.
Yeah, I know the Barrier Beach, Chuck's brought it up based on Mass Mapper. I know Mass Mapper is not completely accurate, so I didn't know if you wanted to do some further work to identify the Barrier Beach delineation or anything like that, or whether you're
Jackson.
Yeah, are you going to need to raise this?
This is a garage non-habitable. It would have flood vents to allow the water to come through. So we're not going to be displacing any of the flood zone. It is, as kind of described at the last hearing, it is, the flood zone is associated with the ocean and Rear Creek behind here. So can we displace the Atlantic is the question, I guess. But we certainly don't want to displace floodwaters in the neighborhood. So we're going to put in the flood vents just to be sure of that. As far as the ground cover, it doesn't exhibit any coastal dune. It's all grass. It's all lawn right now.
Got the picture in front of me.
So it's, when I think of a coastal dune, and I'm not saying it wasn't one time, but right now it's a lawn, and anyone that's been down by, it's a parking lot behind there. As you know, Long Beach is the entire parking lot but it's the will of the board. I'm not sure a notice of intent would make a difference, whether it's an RDA, we're outside the 100-foot buffer zone. It's a fairly benign project in my mind, but as long as we add the flood vents and we meet the requirements.
Your input?
Well, the presumption when you're in a Barrier Beach situation is that every part of the Barrier Beach is a jurisdictional resource. You have the beach, the dune, or the wetland or pond behind it. Just because it has grass on it, there's plenty of lawns out on Wingersheek and any of other beaches, so grass doesn't necessarily make something not dune. So I think I want to show that it's not part of the Barrier Beach system. Provide some additional information to make that claim. Otherwise, we're dealing with a structure on dune. So, a structure within a resource, not just in a buffer zone. And there's a question of whether or not elevated.
The 310 CMR 10.0 the Wetland Protection Act, the performance standards for coastal dune is the, movement of free movement of sand particles. I'm not sure how that affects a lot that is 100% lawn.
It's
and how
sand
we-
particles and the floodwaters.
Well,
Having a
again,
structure there is not gonna allow the floodwaters to move.
Well, we're putting in flood vents.
That allows for. It changes it.
Okay, any other concerns? Commissioners?
No, I think you're going to need an NOI. You may even want to check with ZBA to see. Need to raise it. Or if you need a waiver,
From the zoning board of appeals.
floodplain overlay.
Okay. And then as far as the notice of intent, I'm just trying to, so I prepared for the performance standard, meeting the performance standards for free movement of sand particles.
Yeah, basically when there's work in a resource area, we ask for.
I mean, there's also, I know it's highly developed site, there's also the potential of rebutting the presumption of significance for any of the interests under the Wetlands Protection Act. I think there's four for Barrier Beach on flood storage, flood prevention, storm damage prevention, wildlife habitat, and there's another one that I don't think apply. Well, probably don't apply to this site, but the flood ones, I don't know if you wanted to make a showing that this isn't flood prevention or anything like that. If you could make that showing, it's just another avenue, I suppose, in your NOI.
Historically, over on Coffins Beach area, we always elevated to allow these exposed. We had one, obviously, that was just built where it had, a tennis court. And then that was removed and that allowed for movement of sand. Is that something that the board might be leaning toward, just so I can go back to the client? Let them know, maybe excavate down to natural sand, expose that? I'm not asking for you to solve the problem, but we need to get to the point where we understand what the board's looking for. No problem with the notice of intent. We can do that, but just want to make sure I go back with some marching orders.
I think we need to see the analysis for each of the performance standards. I think there's other factors than just movement of sand.
The 2-foot typical CZM requires a 2-foot clearance, and
It's also a building code thing that if it is dune, it also needs to be elevated just per the building code.
All right, so I anyway, I think we're voting on positive or voting.
Yeah. Mr. Jackson moves to close the public hearing of RDA 0837 12 Beachland Avenue.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook?
Yes.
Yes. Member Terry?
Yes.
Member Jackson?
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves for a positive determination, given that the site is in a resource area, falls within the flood overlay district.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook?
Yes.
Yes. Member Terry?
Yes.
Member Jackson?
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. We should go back to One Harbor Loop. Calling again, RDA 1836 at One Harbor Loop, Building Center, Incorporated Gloucester, Joel Favaza, Seaside Legal Solutions, PC, representing.
Good evening. Thank you for the courtesy a moment ago of tabling that. With permission, I'm going to share my screen and we'll just walk through this RDA request for negative determination. So for the record, my name is Joel Favaza. I'm an attorney at Seaside Legal Solutions with an address of 123 Main Street here in Gloucester. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Building Center Incorporated of Gloucester, which does business as the Building Center. And we are at their main location in Gloucester. This is A site that has no ACECs, no estimated or priority rare species, no vernal pools, etc. The resource areas on and around the site are land underwater. That's the water sheet in the harbor, coastal bank, which is the seawall, land subject to coastal storm flowage, which is the FEMA floodplain below elevation 14, shown in blue here. We are in the DPA, was the designated port area, and we are in the Marine Industrial Zoning District. And by way of background, for those who do not know, this has been used as a commercial industrial warehousing, building supplier facility for over 120 years. Its location on the harbor, it was in part because at the time, things like coal and even oil would come in via barge and land to be distributed up onto the site. So looking to replace some existing uncovered lumber storage racks and one covered lumber area with three new racks that have roofs on them. So you see the numbers 1, 2, and 3 on the screen. Number 1, that is going to be in the location of where the current roofed structure is. And that's going to be 115 foot long, what they call an L rack, because they only hang out one side, so it looks like an L from the profile. Then number 2 in the middle, that is where 2 50-foot T storage racks are going to go. Right now, that's a lumber laydown area. And then 3 down toward the harbor, that's going to be a small 35-foot L, again, just racks heading in one direction. And that's also going to replace existing lumber storage area. So again, here's what the L rack looks like on number 1. This is partially in the buffer zone of Coastal Bank, wholly within the LSCSF. This is one of the T's. There's 2 of these going in the middle of the lot where the current laydown area is. And this is the other small L that's going down closer to the water where the other piece of current lumber storage is. So the reason we did an RGA and believe we can get a negative determination is that a notice of intent is only required when you're going to undertake work within a resource area that will remove, fill, dredge, or alter the area, or if you're doing activity in a buffer zone that will alter the resource area that the buffer zone belongs to. So we went through the definitions of remove, and that means to take away any type of material, thereby changing an elevation, either temporarily or permanently. We're not doing any of that. There'll be no change in elevation. Fill is basically the opposite of that. Again, we're not filling anything. Dredge means to deepen, widen, or excavate land below the mean high tide line. We're not doing anything below mean high tide. And alter means to change the condition of. So as far as the only resource area we're working in is the LSCSF, currently it is fully developed, it's impervious, and it's used for the exact same purposes it'll be used for. So there'll be no change to the current condition of the LSCSF. And from a buffer zone perspective, nothing we're doing up here is going to impact the coastal bank that we're in a buffer zone to. So by my read of this, we have not triggered any of the things that would require a notice of intent. And so I believe you can make a negative determination. The last thing I'll share with you before I end this, just to make sure everyone is properly oriented. Give me 1 second, please. I want to make sure we have like a present day look. Okay, so again, number 1, that 115-foot long one is going to go where this current roof structure is. Hopefully you can all see that, yeah. And then number 2, again, which would be those 2 50-foot T's. Again, these are just racks bolted into concrete pads, poured on grade with roofs to keep the stuff dry. 2 is going to go right here where this current supply and lumber laydown area is. And then 3 is going to go down here. The little 35-footer is going to go exactly where this current rack and supply storage is happening. So again, I do not believe we are triggering any of the required tripwires that would need an NOI filed. I'd hope for a negative determination. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll open it up to public comments. Any members of the public who have any questions or comments on this project, please raise your hand.
We have no hands up on the Zoom and none here in person.
Commissioner, roll call comments.
Member Cook.
I I would just like to make sure that we have some type of boom in the water, especially while we're doing the deconstruction of 3. To prevent any debris from falling in.
Sergeant,
No comment.
Member Terry.
No further comments.
Jackson.
No comment.
Okay,
No complaints from me about the boom request.
all right.
Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for RDA 1836 at One Harbor Loop.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
We'll call Member Cook.
Yes.
Sergeant.
Yes.
Member Terry.
Yes.
And Member Jackson.
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves for negative determination for RDA 1836 at One Harbor Loop.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
We'll call Member Cook.
Yes.
Sergeant.
Yes.
Member Terry.
Yes.
And Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you
Alright,
very much. Have a nice night.
Next item, RDA 1838 at 22 Woodward Avenue, Karen McKiernan applicant. The after the fact curbing for driveway expansion in riverfront area, made subject to coastal storm flowage and buffer zone to coastal resource areas. Karen McKiernan representing.
Good evening. I am Karen McKernan from 22 Woodward Ave. I also own 19 abutting property. And this is a follow-up to our October 1st meeting here, when we discussed the laying of the dirt gravel on some existing parking area that we have, that we used for 19 Woodward. As the board discussed with me and suggested, we would like to proceed with topping that with stone gravel to keep the dirt in place and prevent it from washing away. And the addition of netting to the back rear slope and grass seed to stabilize the sloping area and prevent any wash.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
it.
All right.
If
Thank
you have
you.
any questions or suggestions or
We'll see, we're gonna open up to public comment now. Members of the public who have any questions or comments on this project, please raise your hand.
We have no hands up on the Zoom and none here in person.
Commissioner roll call comments now.
Cook.
No comments.
Sergeant.
Thank you for submitting the after the fact.
yes.
Terry.
I think Chuck pointed this out, but the previous approval RDA that you received and you showed us last week required planting of new saplings. When you remove dead trees. Did you do any of that work?
We didn't take the roots out of any of the trees. He said if you removed any of the root systems,
Okay.
but we did not. We only, we kept all the roots.
Okay,
So that was if, he said if you remove any of the root systems, which we did not,
if you remove the roots to put new saplings.
correct?
Member Jackson.
No additional comments.
I guess, you can just clarify the timing on when some of this would happen.
We're gonna do it right away, within the next week or two.
Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for RDA 1838 at 22.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Oh, Member Cook.
Yes.
Yes.
Member Terry.
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves for negative determination for RDA 1838 at 22 Woodward Ave.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Oh, Member Cook.
Yes.
Sergeant. Yes. Member Terry.
Yes.
And Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, next item is NOI 028, no DEP number yet.
Don't believe so. Let me check.
At 9 Barberry Heights Road, Seth Goldstein is the applicant for a septic system in buffer zone to pond and bordering vegetated wetland. Seth Goldstein representing. No DEP.
Hello, all. My name is Seth Goldstein, 9 Barberry Heights Road.
Chuck, I don't know if, is it helpful to have any of the images up, but,
Let me, just pull it up here.
um, basically, I'm proposing to decommission a cesspool and divert the wastewater flow to a new underground septic tank and pump chamber combo. The effluent from the tank will then be pumped to an existing monolithic septic tank and discharged to an existing leach field. And, there's, I'm trying to, I'm under the impression it's trying to keep things brief, it's helpful, but I can go into as much detail as you like. Right now, we have the plan detail up, which shows the house, which is a one-story dwelling. Can I go up there and show you a point? Because it's hard for me to explain otherwise. So basically, right here is where the cesspool is, and the pipe comes out of the house for to supply it. And we are going to connect to that pipe, go to this tank, which will be a 2-compartment tank. The second compartment will have a pump in it. It will pump the waste to the existing tank. Will attach to the waste line here and go to this existing tank, which will then go out to the existing septic field, which passes Title V. That's it in short. Again, I can go into as much further detail if you like. We do have some pictures if you'd like to see as well. But that's it in short.
Thank you.
And it was approved by the health department as well. Cody approved it.
All right, we'll open up to public comments. Any members of the public with a question or comment on this project, please raise your hand.
Currently have no hands up on the Zoom and none here in person.
Okay, Commissioner roll call comments.
Member Cook,
I didn't hear the answer when you asked, but this has been approved by the Board of Health, right?
Correct.
Okay, I have no questions.
Member Sargent,
No comment.
Member Terry,
No comments. I'd only ask that you submit the Board of Health approval into the file, just for our
Yeah,
records.
just got it today.
yeah, I received it as well.
Somehow it got lost in the mail. It was and so, yeah, we'll get to you.
Okay, seems like they're behind.
Yeah, I got it today as well.
Thank you.
And Member Jackson,
I have no comment. We will have to continue this because you don't have a DEP number.
Yeah, I'm not, honestly, I don't know what that means.
They usually assign where it has your NOI 028, then there's nothing after it.
Okay.
And they have to assign that and can't vote on it until they do assign that.
Oh, really? I was not aware. So what would that mean?
they've received it, like it's already showing up in their portal and it doesn't have any notes on it. Sometimes they'll say that they're waiting for the feed, stuff like that. I think it's probably just waiting to be reviewed and assigned the number.
So what we'll do, if it's convenient with you, is continue to the next meeting, which is November 5th.
Yeah, it's not exactly convenient to me, but it's not your fault.
No, we can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can I, right?
You can call DEP.
Yeah, I wish I was aware of that and I would have waited until I had the number to present to you. Or I would have got on them to get the number.
It's frustrating, no question. Okay, so we'll continue to NOI 028 unassigned DEP number at 9 Barbary Heights Road to the Conservation Commission meeting on November 5th, 2025.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook,
Yes.
yes, Member Terry,
Yes,
and Member Jackson.
Yes.
thank you, and we'll see you in the next meeting.
And in the next meeting, can I ask, basically just present the number and then move forward, or should I?
We will have the number at that point and we'll say probably something to the effect of, we were only waiting for the DEP number and we'll take a vote unless something else comes up in the meantime. Which I don't see happening, but.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you all.
You have an option to join on Zoom too, if you want to come back in person.
Okay, I'm not usually that great with some of the techie stuff, so that's why. Thanks for your help with for that. But But thank you.
It would be pleasant to see you again.
It would be.
Yeah, all right. So I'll see you, what was that?
November
date?
5th.
Okay,
3 weeks.
all right, thank you.
Next item is amendment for 0283058 at 40 Eastern Point Boulevard. Richard and Donna Tadler applicants. This is an amendment to NOI 0283058 to tie into sewer, gas, and electric in buffer zones or bordering vegetated wetland and coastal resource areas. John Judd, Gateway Consultants Incorporated, representing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, John Judd, engineer with Gateway Consultants. Chuck, I can bring up the previously approved plan and the requested plan if you'd like. Promote me to, okay, so I'm already here. Okay, so this is the, I don't know if you can see this, this is the plan that was approved at 40 Eastern Point Boulevard. This is the project that's in between the Boulevard, BMO Ave, and St. Louis Ave back here. This is the removal and replacement reconstruction of a single-family dwelling. You may recall the landscape architect proposed an open swale through here with all sorts of native plantings. It's a really unique project with a proposed small pool patio here and a significant reduction in a tennis court area here. So this was all approved. To work in the buffer zone is associated with this wetland here, which is at the corner of St. Louis Ave and BMO. And the buffer zone associated with that is here. Across the street, we have the coastal bank, and the buffer zone associated with that is here. What we're back here in front of you to request is to allow for a connection to the existing subsurface gas line here. There's also a sewer line here. They'd like to connect to the municipal sewer, and they'd like to also in that same trench bring in subsurface electric in this location here. So what I can do is bring up that plan, and hopefully I can do that without hurting myself here.
Already have it up in the separate tab there.
Oh, okay. All right, here it is anyway. So here is the proposed modification here. So there's an existing sewer line right here. And we're proposing to bring a 2-inch force main here. We come down, come across here and to a new grinder pump here. Subsurface electric right here, and gas would be right here, all subsurface. Again, this is all tennis court right now. This would all be removed and we would be putting in, after we put in the subsurface, I'm sorry, the open swale, we'll be putting in the utilities there. So what we would do is be decommissioning this septic system here that we're thinking about using that as roof runoff infiltration. The new system, it's a fairly new system in here, so we'd use that as a pretty good opportunity to get that back into the groundwater table, get that cleaned out and use that as a recharge from the roof runoff. So that's really the extent of it, is this sewer line here, proposing the low pressure sewer line to go into the municipal system, subsurface gas and electric. I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Open it up to public comment. Any members of the public who have questions or comments on this project, please raise your hand.
We have no hands up on the Zoom and none here in person.
Hey, Commissioner roll call comments.
Member Cook,
No comments.
Sergeant,
No comment.
Member Terry,
Is there any impact on the swale that you're planning to construct?
No, everything will be subsurface below that. It's a fairly shallow swale. We had some photographs submitted as part of the original notice. It's a very shallow swale that comes through there. Water table is very shallow there. So we're gonna be coming underneath that with all utilities.
No issues with roots or anything?
No, everything's gonna be in a conduit or a sleeve. So. And the vegetation there is gonna be shrub and herbaceous type plants in the swale.
Member Jackson?
I have no additional comments.
Okay.
Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for amendment 0283058 at 40 Eastern Point Boulevard.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook?
Yes.
Sergeant? Yes. Member Terry?
Yes.
Member Jackson?
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve amendment 0283058 at 40 Eastern Point Boulevard.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook?
Yes.
Sergeant? Yes. Member Terry?
Yes.
Member Jackson?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next item is NOI 028, no DEP number at 6 Brewster's Lane, 13 High Rock Terrace. Lisa Latoff Pirlo, the applicant, this is raise and rebuild a dwelling and buffer zone to coastal bank. John Judd from Gateway Consultants Inc.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Once again, John Judd representing the applicant for this removal and reconstruction of an existing dwelling at 6 Brewster Place. Let me see if I can bring up this plan that I have.
Do you still not have a number for it, John?
No, we do have it, Bill.
Yes, 3095.
Thank you.
And that all queued up, teed up, ready to go. Yeah. Me lean on you, Chuck, for this one. Site plan, if that's all right. Thank you. So you can see Brewster Lane on the bottom, High Rock Terrace on the right. The associated resource areas are of the coastal bank across High Rock Terrace. And you can see the dark dash line going through the first third of the building on the right wing. The existing structure is on the left where you see the hatch lines. This actually comprises of 2 lots, both of which the homeowner owns. And the proposed building is shown in the dark lines. It's long rectangular. You have a wing on the left and the wing on the right. We are proposing a rain garden to address the stormwater runoff from the additional impervious area, as well as the mitigation, the 2-to-1 mitigation associated with the increase in impervious area within the buffer zone. So it's a fairly straightforward project in terms of removing the existing. We do show a dumpster and erosion control along the right-hand side within the buffer zone. And that's really the extent of it. Can answer any questions that the commissioners or the public may have at this time.
Thank you. We'll turn to public comments. Any members of the public with questions or comments on this project, please raise your hand.
I have a couple hands raised here on the Zoom. The first is Susan's iPad.
Representing, this is John Lucci representing 4A, 6, 9, and 9A High Rock Terrace. We're abutters to both 6 Brewster's Lane and 13 High Rock Terrace, the two lots in question. We're concerned with the rain water runoff, which travels down Brewster Lane through the sledge-filled lot of 6 Brewster's Lane and 13 High Rock Terrace, onto High Rock Terrace, and then onto our coastal bank of 6 High Rock Terrace across the street. Every time it rains, this causes significant pooling of water in front of the lot on High Rock Terrace, and in the winter, the puddle becomes ice. The terrain of the upper house is quite a bit higher than the elevation of the High Rock Terrace lot. So water runoff and stormwater is a major concern, particularly with the house footprint shown. I'm not sure if there's blasting that's going to take place or be required, but that's going to it's going to make it worse. And I'm a little concerned about the coastal embankment if there is blasting. The storm already hampers that embankment as it is. This project presents, as presented, will be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. All properties should not discharge water off their premise, and each property owner should be required to have an engineer, certified engineer, do stormwater analysis prior to any approval. According to the assessor's cards, the square footage of this lot, the lot listed as 13 High Rock Terrace is 4,914 square feet, and Brewster's Lane, 6 Brewster's Lane is 5,070 square feet. Together, they total 9,984 square feet. It's presently a non-conforming house and patio. The present non-conforming house and patio have a footprint of 1,677 square feet, or 17% of both lots. The proposed plan shows a house footprint of roughly 3,000 square feet, which represents 1,323 or 79% increase in impervious area, not the 1,052 as listed in the proposed work and description for 6 Brewster's Lane. Also all the abutters were not notified. For example, 4A and 6 High Rock Terrace, we weren't, but that's just a minor thing. That's the beach and the embankment, which presently absorbs much of the water runoff from the higher elevations. We would like to see peer review by a coastal geologist because of the increase in the impervious area and its effect on the coastal bank. I think it needs to go out for, or we think it needs to go out for an independent review just to protect the resource area. This lot has many challenges and issues, and we think it will be a detriment to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another hand up, Lisa Bebchik.
Yes, hi, thank you, and good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Bebchik, and I'm actually calling tonight on behalf of my father, Les Bebchik. Last name is spelled Bebchick. He is the owner of 15 High Rock Terrace. He unfortunately was not able to make it this evening, but wanted me to call and express to the commission that he joins in Mr. Lucci's letter that he sent to the commission before this evening, and in all the points that Mr. Lucci just made, including the lot that is on the High Rock Terrace side is one big boulder, and it's unclear whether blasting will be required and how that will impact the area. And so I'm just stating that for the record because my father wasn't able to attend tonight.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
No other hands up on Zoom and none here in person.
Commissioner roll call comments.
Member Cook.
On the drawing, John, there's the house that's that's kind of like the property wraps around. It shows an existing patio off the back that's, it seems like it runs right through the property. I can't figure out what the lines were on that. So I just needed that clarified. And as far as the building itself, are you planning on putting this up on pilings or some type of foundation?
Member Sargent?
Yeah, I'd like the applicant to talk about, claim that not all abutters were notified and all the watering must be adequately treated for being discharged, and there should be a 2-year monitoring of mortality and mitigation planting.
Member Lettieri?
Yeah, one question is that whether the coastal bank provides sediment. I think that's gonna affect the local performance standard for a new building within 100 feet of the bank. Like to see continuing condition prohibiting further alteration within the native planting areas, except as may be required to maintain those areas. And another continuing condition to maintain the stormwater functions of the rain garden. Just make a comment on stormwater. It seems to me that with the roof garden, the roof drains piped to the rain garden and the additional mitigation plantings in the downslope part of the property should probably intercept most stormwater from getting onto the road. So that seems like to me that it'll be alleviating the problem of stormwater pooling on High Rock Terrace.
Member Jackson?
I have no additional comments.
I just echo the trying to make sure that the functionality is there, that rain garden. I was kind of curious with all that ledge you're buying that area where the rain garden is going to go. I know that area is a lot of sand right there, but I was wondering if you had done any exploratory pits or anything to make sure that is adequate to deal with all that stormwater.
Sure, yeah, so as you can see from the photos, that's the only area where there's not exposed ledge, and it drops down fairly readily there. That's something that we can provide. As you know, any building permit in Gloucester requires a stamped approval, a plan approved by the city engineer for drainage. So we can certainly do that. As far as the abutters being notified, I have all the slips. So I have all the stamped receipts. I'm gonna send those over to Chuck tomorrow. So if there's there shouldn't be any question on that. We have all of those stamped receipts from the post office. Some of the other comments, Bill had asked whether that the patio behind the building, that's actually an encroachment from Mr. Lucci. Surprised you brought that up, but so that's an encroachment both in the shed and his patio. As far as piles, that's not planned. The proposal is to be a conventional foundation. As far as the 79% increase in impervious area, I'm not sure where he's coming up with that. We're showing the buffer zone increase. So that's what we're here to, in front of this board, is to address the buffer zone and the impacts to the resource areas. All of which the zoning aspects are not under this purview here, but they're addressed by the building inspector. As far as the drainage concerns, again, revegetating or providing vegetation where there's currently exposed rock would require the import of at least 6 to 12 inches of planting loam with salt drought tolerant plants, and that's what's proposed to increase the uptake of runoff. So right now you have a good portion of that lower lot, if you will, is exposed rock, and that would be replanted with significant amount of native vegetation. In addition to the rain garden infiltration, but we are open to continuing the hearing to allow for that soil data to be provided. We can go out and do a test pit there. And any other items that the commission may like to see.
Do you anticipate blasting in the jurisdictional area?
I don't want to rule out blasting. If there's there's ways to mitigate that with close hole drilling, and that will minimize the extent of an impact. And if there's something that's needed from a driller, we can certainly provide that. We've done that in the past where we have closer holes where there's more of a confined space and more contained, so it doesn't fracture the whole section.
But you do intend to remove the ledge.
Yes.
I think we have another hand up.
There's Mr. Lucci again. Lucci, you got your hand up?
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes,
Thank you. The comment is on the encroachment. Both property owners were encroaching on the others. So we have an easement that was done with the prior owner. If Mr. Judd looks into it, he'll see that there's a recorded a recorded easement to the deed. So there are no encroachments at present. There's just an easement because their shed was on our property and part of our patio was on their property. There have been two easements in our backyard between the two properties. We had a roughly 468 square feet. So I hired a surveyor and an attorney, and we straightened it out so that the prior owner could sell the house without any issues.
Patio and a shed.
Okay, thank you.
Patio and their shed. Their shed was on our land, our patio was on theirs. Thank you.
yeah, but that wasn't the patio. The patio by the shed isn't the one I was referring to. It's the one that's going into the new long extension. That's the one I'm looking at on the drawing. Not the brick patio down by the shed. The drawing shows another patio coming off the back of the house. And it almost looks like it's some type of an easement that goes, down to Brewster's almost, because the lines seem to continue down there. And that's the part that I'm questioning.
If I could, Bill, I think you're talking about an existing patio that's gonna be removed. That, see to your left, just below that bound, BND, you'll see that existing concrete patio. That's, is that what you're talking about, Bill, right there with Bill's?
Nope, go up to Mr. Lucci's house. Right there, that one.
Well, that's on his property.
Yeah, but why do the lines continue all the way down? That's what I'm,
Well, like Mr. Lucci pointed out, there was encroachments on both sides and that was worked out.
I think
Apparently.
you're looking at the elevation contours, Bill. How about this line here?
okay, maybe that's what it is. It just, because it said existing patio, I was trying to figure out what it was.
Where does that patio end?
That's all the shaded area here.
It goes right up, it's shaded, it goes right into that wall right there, So that's a retaining wall.
But where does it end on this direction?
Right, there's a line, see, it says 85.23, that line
Okay,
right there is
okay.
that,
Okay.
just on the other side of the lot line.
Okay, you want to continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283095 at 6 Brewster's Lane and 13 High Rock Terrace to the Conservation Commission meeting of November 5th. Is that what you want?
Yes, please.
2025.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Oh, Member Cook,
Yes.
Sergeant? Yes. Member Terry?
Yes.
And Member Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
You. Okay, next item is NOI 0283094 at 11 Apple Street. Francesca Jagaloni, applicant. This is new home construction in buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland and bank. Dan Ottenheimer from Mill River Consulting.
Batting ninth tonight is Dan Ottenheimer. Good evening, commissioners. I'm gonna present the plan just because it's colorized, but of course, please do show it on the screen as well. It's crudely colorized with a highlighter, but I think it might give some context.
Won't help the style.
Dance style.
It's as high tech as I get. So we have a parcel that is looking to be built by Francesca Giacalone and her husband Tony. This is currently basically all grass. You've probably seen some of the pictures in Chuck's folder and in our application. There's an existing driveway here, an existing shed. So that's what the site consists of. There is a pond back here. We've had the BVW flagged, and there is a bank associated with that as well. So that's what we have for resource area. The proposal is to build a house. We're trying to obviously minimize impacts here. So one of the things we're looking to do is reuse the existing driveway. We're going to keep the shed as well. The driveway continues past the shed. We're proposing to remove all that asphalt as well. We're going to have a drip edge on the roofs here and a pervious parking area in the back. Obviously, the construction zone will be surrounded by erosion control to keep any potential sediment from migrating. We also have a proposed material stockpile area and a proposed dumpster storage area, a dumpster area for any debris. So there's no work in the buffer, in the resource area here. This is all buffer zone to two resource areas, one bank, one BVW. The standards for work in the buffer zone to a bank is to not destabilize the bank. And the standards for work in buffer zone to a BVW is to not to do work that might impact the BVW. I think we're certainly far enough away and have construction controls in place. Plus, it's a vegetated and flat lot. All of those together indicate that we comply with the standards in the Wetlands Protection Act. The other pieces, this commission likes to see native plant species at twice the rooftop area. So we are providing that throughout the site. So that's going to be a substantial enhancement. Basically, every area that's near the water or the wetlands is going to be planted with native species. What we have.
Okay, thank you. We'll open up to public comments. Any members of the public with questions or comments on this project, please raise your hand.
We currently have no hands up on Zoom and there are none here in person.
Okay, Commissioner, roll call comments.
Member Cook,
No comments.
Sergeant?
Yeah, there should be a restoration planting plan for where the driveway is proposed to be removed beyond where you have the native species planting area. I'd like a more detailed mitigation planting plan other than the generic list that was submitted. Generic list included salt tolerant plants, which I don't think is applicable in this area. Wondering if there might be some invasive vegetation next to the pond that also could be removed. And I'd like the house moved closer to the street, further away from the resource area. Currently, the house is proposed to be only 11 feet from the top of the bank. There's a 20-foot front yard setback in this zoning district, and I believe there's adequate setback to accomplish this. Like a 2-year monitoring for the mortality and mitigation plantings, and all dewatering must be adequately treated or being discharged. And please be aware that this site has a fair chance of having some significant archaeological artifacts. So please excavate carefully. Thank you.
Terry.
Yeah, I think you haven't put native plantings between the bank and the resource area, but I'm wondering, is that area currently vegetated?
So this is the bank itself. It's a steep drop off and we are not proposing to alter that at all because we felt like that would potentially cause some destabilization. So we're not proposing to adjust.
But that's currently vegetated?
It's mostly vegetated. There's some areas where it's kind of sloughed off a bit and the vegetation's not stable, but most of it is vegetated.
And there's a driveway, asphalt driveway and a fence located to it.
That's correct.
Yeah, I would also like to see restoration plan for the asphalt area and fence. I'm wondering if you can reduce the size of pervious driveway to expand the planting buffer. Kind of, it gets tight sort of in that corner driveway there, of the driveway extension, that northeast corner. I'd like to see a continuing condition prohibiting further alteration within the restoration and mitigation planting areas, except as may be required to maintain areas and they were restored and mitigated condition.
Member Jackson.
No additional comment.
Yeah, I think overall the wetland there looked pretty good. I think it's one of the few wetlands I've seen in a long time that had no Phragmites, all cattails. That being said, it did look like there was some trash that had kind of fallen over the edge in the back there, so it'd be nice to have that cleaned out prior to vegetating that area. And also the concrete or the asphalt looked like it kind of wrapped around, extending away from the driveway and kind of into where the fence and stuff is. I'm not sure if there's any buried asphalt in there when you, I guess you might find when you're removing that fence, but it'd be good to have that removed so that it's actual soil that can better promote vegetation.
Great, thank you. So obviously we'll refine our approach to planting and vegetation management and come back to you. I do want to just review Commissioner Sargent's concern. So the zoning setback is 20 feet. We are currently 21 feet from the front lot line. So we are unable to move it any closer.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Jackson moved to close the public hearing for 08094 on Apple Street.
Are we closing the public hearing or we're just gonna continue it to the next meeting?
Oh, I guess we're going to continue. Are we continuing it?
We're continuing for restoration.
Okay, sorry. Sorry. Long evening.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283094 on 11 Apple Street to the Conservation Commission meeting of November 5th, 2020.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Call Member Cook.
Yes.
Stryker. Yes. Member Carey.
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. I got the next one though.
Won't be the last time we see you. All right, next item is NOI 028, no DEP number.
It does have one. It's 3096.
NOI 0283096 at 3 Drumhack Road. John Brook is the applicant. Addition, a garage, patio expansion in land subject to coastal storm flowage and buffer zone, bordering vegetated wetland and Oppenheimer.
Good evening, Commissioners. John Brook, the owner, is here as well. John, if you want to come around, you can see as well. Yes, right? So where Drumhack Road is way at the end of Eastern Point, if you're not familiar with it. And John's got a house here now and looking to do some modifications to it. So that's what we're here to discuss this evening. So what we're looking to do is take the existing footprint and build out in certain directions, and so expand the footprint essentially. Build a garage with the exercise room up above it. And then there's currently a patio back here, and just to expand the patio a little bit out in this direction. So that's the scope of the project. So this is the property here. The ocean is right here. It's an absolutely gorgeous location. And in terms of resource areas associated with the water, we have mean high water here, and we have the flood zone that wraps around right over here. We also have vegetated wetland located here, here, and here. So we have all of those depicted as well as the buffer zones. These gray spots you see are the planting areas that are proposed, and the landscape designer Hilary Holdsworth, who put together the planting plan that you have, is on the call as well in case there's any questions. So essentially, we have a little bit of work in a resource area, and then most of the work is in buffer zone. So in the resource area is the proposed expansion of a stone patio. It's an existing stone patio. We're looking to bump that out about 4 or 5 feet. That is within land subject to coastal storm flowage. And then all the other work is in buffer zone to the vegetated wetlands. So the expansion of the house is in buffer zone to the wetlands, and the proposed garage is in buffer zone to the vegetated wetlands. So interestingly, some of these wetlands are actually up gradient. The freshwater wetlands are up gradient of this work. So the risk to them is quite slight. This on the adjacent parcel is probably about the same elevation. Obviously, we have erosion control proposed around there. So that being said, we believe in our presentation, material we've submitted, we've demonstrated how we meet the performance standards in the Wetlands Protection Act, and obviously answer any questions that you have, but we'd like your consideration of issuance of an order of condition.
You. Open it up to public comments. Any members of the public who have questions or comments on this item, please raise your hand.
We have no hands up on the Zoom and none here in person.
Roll call comments.
Member Cook.
Doesn't appear to be any, but are you taking down any trees at all?
Yeah, keep going. Yep.
Is that all you have, Member Cook?
Yep, that was it.
Sergeant?
Yeah, all the watering must be adequately treated or being discharged. I'd like a 2-year monitor, the mortality mitigation plantings. And there needs to be a written health department sign off for this expansion, as this property is serviced by an on-site wastewater and septic system.
Member Terry?
That was my question, is whether there's a sewer connection or a septic system. Is there going to be a sewer connection? Is it possible to add a rain garden to mitigate some of the additional impervious roof surface that's? I guess I'm more concerned with the garage surface, considering it's closer sort of to the downgrading wetland. Whereas the house is downgrading of the northern wetland area, so that's probably less of a concern, but I guess for the roof, for that additional impervious surface, there could be a for that stormwater. And I'd like to see a continuing condition prohibiting further alteration within the mitigation planting areas, except as may be required to maintain them in their mitigating condition.
Member Jackson?
No additional comments.
So, John or Hillary, do you want to, oh, I'm sorry, Chuck, I apologize.
Oh, no, I had some question about the trees, because I believe there are some that will be removed for the proposed garage, I believe.
Right. So, John or Hillary, do you want to talk about the trees?
Hillary, are you on there?
I can pull her up.
Plan here. Right?
All right.
It is not. Sorry, Anjo.
I'm here. Oh, God. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. I don't know if you, oh, there we are. Hello, commissioners. Good evening.
Oh, thank you.
I tell you what, I can share my screen if that's acceptable to you.
Yep.
And that will clarify some stuff. So can you see that? Okay.
Loading.
Yeah, it's taking a second. There you go.
Okay. So we do have 4 sort of middle-sized oak trees that will have to be removed in this, in this existing scheme. That's it at the moment. There are like a number of native plant areas. Here's one of them. There's one here. There's a downspout drainage in grass swale sort of planned for here, but I don't see any reason why we couldn't turn this area into the kind of plants that can tolerate, anaerobic soils for a short period of time, which is, a drainage swale would accomplish that. So that's an easy fix. We have currently got sort of 9,843 square feet of native plant material planted throughout the whole property in various areas, which is way more than, the 2-to-1 mitigation for the impervious added to the project. What else can I answer as far as questions?
Go a detailed planting.
Oh, yeah, yeah, this is a detailed planting plan. Here's the plant key. You can see that. Everything's numbered here. I think you have a copy of this already.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yep, yep.
So I'll preemptively ask what the commissioner is going to ask Hillary. So if we're taking 4 trees down, are we planting at least 8 trees as part of our?
We sure are. Let me run through here real quick. Where's the number here? Oh, this just shows the various species, but we have quite a few trees planned. We have, my associate Rachel Newman is also on the call. She might remember the exact numbers of these trees, but we have Hamamelis, which is our native witch hazel. We have Thuya plicata, which is a native arborvitae. We have Nyssa sylvatica, Juniperus virginiana. We have quite a few of those. So unfortunately, the plant key does not tell us how many of each one we have, but we do have quite a few. I think we have more than double, if that's what's required, of the 4 oak trees that are coming down. We certainly have more than double that. I know we have 8. Right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 just in this area right here. That doesn't include what we're planting here and what we're planting here and at the front of the house.
I'm here, Hillary, if you'd love me to tell you what types of trees we have planted there.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Hillary. I think the commissioners just need to know that there will be at least 8 trees,
Yep.
right?
Yep, we got that.
Okay, great. And then the other main question relates to the garage and whether to take the garage runoff and divert that into a rain garden or use the current drip edge that's proposed. I would submit there is, we can certainly look into that. That's what the chairman was asking about. The architectural look was to be without any gutters, so that would change the whole design of what they have proposed. So
I didn't realize there was a drip edge, but I think.
Yes, there is.
That handles the roof runoff.
yes, there is.
Serves the same function.
Yes, correct. Okay, great. And then to the commissioner's other concern about the health department, of course, so there is no public sanitary sewer or public water in this region. So they are served by an on-site wastewater system. And obviously the health department is going to have to make sure that the number of bedrooms in the new configuration is not going to exceed what's the on-site system was designed for. So we certainly would expect that as a condition of your approval, and obviously they can't get the building permit without that anyhow.
Yeah, I'd like, a written approval rather than just a check off on the, on the, from the building department, as you know, and I know sometimes that gets missed.
Yeah, so some written document in the Conservation Commission's file.
Yes.
Yes, from the health department. We can certainly do that, yes. So, and then the 2-year monitoring makes sense. Any dewatering, which I don't expect much, would be treated. So I think we've addressed your questions and we're comfortable with all of your suggested conditions as well.
Okay, thank you.
Moving forward or waiting for the written documentation?
Well, you have the written documentation from the Board of Health, you still need that.
We still need that, but you could make that a condition that, they can't start any work without a letter from the health department. So that way we're not doing a catch-22 type situation.
Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for NOI 0283096 at 3 Drumhack Road.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook.
Yes.
Sergeant?
Yes.
Member Terry?
Yes.
And Member Jackson?
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve NOI 0283096 at 3 Drumhack Road with the conditions previously discussed, including the written documentation.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Member Cook.
Yes.
Sergeant? Yes. Member Terry?
Yes.
And Member Jackson?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, commissioners, thanks for your time tonight.
Okay.
You should have colored the other one too, Dan.
Should have what?
You should have colored the other one.
Hillary's plan?
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hillary.
And moving to certificates of compliance. Take. First one. I think you want Massasoit.
Yeah, so 35 Massasoit still have not received the as-built plan. That did months ago. Okay, do deny it, making a incomplete plan.
If we deny it, you have to leave them.
They would just have to come back.
Yeah.
Said anything about their timing?
If they had the as-built. But they're gonna submit it.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, dear.
I could deny it, maybe get some moving on it.
Yeah, because we're, really not supposed to leave. POC is just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah, okay. Right. Commissioner Jackson moves to deny the request for a certificate of compliance 0282721. Failure to provide.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Terry,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Our request for 3 Welch Lane,
Where did the sergeant recuse us?
0281933.
I still have not received any confirmation that the markers were installed. So I believe we're still waiting to receive that confirmation before we ratify to issue. COC.
Okay, we don't need to vote to continue it.
I believe so.
What about 0282948 at 84 Denison? Actually,
Where should the sergeant returns?
Okay.
the 4 of these, they all look good. The next 4.
Yes. Yep.
And you've noted the continuing conditions that should be noted on the certificates.
Yep.
Anybody have any issues with these?
No, not at all.
All right, you want to move them all together?
Sure. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve request for certificate of compliance for 0282948 at 84 Dennison Street, 0282901 at 27 and 29 Dennison Street, 0282916 at 37 Cogshall Road, and 0282903 at 53 Wingersheik Road.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
Oh, Member Cook,
Yes.
Sergeant.
Yes.
Member Terry
Yes.
and Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay. Violations. Enforcement order 2408 at Woodstock Way.
So I did make contact finally. I guess they said that because of the drought conditions, they were waiting. Plant. That being said, they do intend to start planting tomorrow. So we'll make sure to make a visit over there at some point tomorrow and see if that's happening. Hopefully with all the recent rain.
Yeah. Can you please let us know if it happens?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Patty Ammo, Mr.
Patty Emerald's your hand up, yes.
Yeah. Hi, Patty.
Hello, how are you? Well, I'm glad to hear that something's gonna be happening. I have a question about, Katie had said that the fence shouldn't have went up before they did the planting. Now, I did landscaping for years, so I'm wondering, how do they get equipment in there? They're gonna, how big are these trees and everything? Did we get an answer to those kind of questions? Does it say it on the plans, like how big they were and?
No.
Since I've looked at, I believe it did talk about the size of, as far as how many gallons the pots and stuff were.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can peel back a section of the fence so that there's access. I believe there's also some kind of access doors at different parts of that fence, at least up closer to the buildings there. But
Yeah, they're very small though. They're just enough for a person to get in. There's one and
yeah, so
one.
sometimes they're able to, as I said, kind of take apart the fence and kind of roll it back to create access and then connect it. So they decided to put the fence in before they planted, so that's something they have to figure out, I guess. They could also probably lift stuff up and over, to get it on the other side of the fence too. I'm not sure, but sure you'll see it over the next couple of days, and I intend to stop by and kind of see how things are going too. Certainly give us a call if you see anything that looks questionable.
My mother is having her 90th birthday this weekend and I'm leaving tomorrow, first thing in the morning. So I will not be able to be the eyes over there. And that really makes me sad because I wanted to see that part of it. I'm joyous of the fence. There was a cleanup Jeff Worthley had at the train station. They were able to clean there, not getting too much prickers and bleeding to death. It's a hard clean over there. This is not an easy thing. I'm still concerned about the corner where the copper shop is because I feel like it's still encroached upon, but who am I? I don't know. So I'm grateful that the trailer was gone after over 10 years. I mean, I'm just very happy about some things that I've been watching for 26 years or so since I've been here. We also have a DNA meeting, Downtown Neighborhood Association meeting on Saturday with the candidates. And I will not be able to be there, sadly, again, but I have a voice there. And they will be bringing up the Emerald Forest, I'm sure, to talk about that. This has, like the carry in, carry out, this has made people start to think about this. And when people were talking about taking putting the fence up and keeping the wildlife out and just really killing the wetland, it really made people start to stand up and want you who make the decisions, who are so important to this process, to hear them. Because, it's not just me anymore. And that makes me really proud that people are standing up because this is a very important open space. As we know, there's only 2 green spaces left in our inner city. And with the 3A, we're going to be building. So we need to save this. And there's also a video program that Lisa Smith is putting together. She just walked in there with me the other day. It's about green spaces in the downtown. And I hope once she shows it that you'll be able to go and see it. I'm not sure where she's going to be showing it, but so a renewed interest in this beautiful place that has been abused for so long. And I'm very happy about it. And you guys should be proud. Hopefully you continue with the lack of fence, because I think what we have right now is just fine. Let's save money, let's save the world, and let's save these animals and keep it the way it is. Do the planting, everything's good. So if you guys walk over there and see it, you'll see everything's good. And it's easier to clean. I've always wanted a barrier. I've asked for, if you look in the minutes from Conservation Commission meetings with John Fina, you'll see that I've been talking about this a long time. And you have gotten some things done, and I'm very happy. I just hope it continues, that the fence does not continue, and the plantings go well, and they get watered and cared for, because I will be here to watch that, and so will everybody else. And thank you very much. As Joe Favazza said at one of the meetings, maybe those people who move in will help me clean. And I do hope that will happen, because that would just be grand, wouldn't it? So I hope so. Let's save the things that we have, because when they're gone, and you can't get them back. So hear ye, keep on doing the work, because we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Anybody wanna?
I'll move to adjourn.
Commissioner makes a motion to adjourn.
Whatever.
Roll call, Member Cook.
Yes.
Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Terry.
Yes.
And Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone. Hi, Bill.
Okay, have a good night, everyone.
Hi, John Boy.